Hey guys, welcome to Wisco Whiskey Review. My name is Jeff, and today we're going to be reviewing the Dancing Goat Distillery out of Cambridge, Wisconsin, their Limousin Rye. Now, this is a whiskey made from a rye mash. It can't be called a rye whiskey by definition because of the barreling. Now, this has three different barrelings. The first one is New Charred Oak. The second one is ex-rye barrels, and then the third one, it's finished in a Limousin Rye barrel. So that's French Limousin oak, which according to the bottle again is the rarest oak in the world. So this is again out of Cambridge, Wisconsin. It's 47% ABV or alcohol. This is batch D14 DGFQ for any of those interested. I don't know how available this is. I would imagine it's mostly Wisconsin, maybe a little bit some other parts of the country as well. So my purpose for this channel is going to be to review whiskeys, not only for myself to kind of go back to and review on to see if anything's changed, or just to get my take on different whiskeys that I remember having back during these reviews. And also to give some insight for you guys as well, anyone watching this. If you are interested in any whiskeys and want to know more about them, kind of what I think. Again, my palate is just one palate. I've been into whiskey for about 3 years now or so. So I'm still learning, my palate's still evolving and changing, I'm still picking up on things. Any of my notes, whether it's the nose, the palate, even my own value, what I give the scores on these things is going to be just specifically to me. That might jive with you, it might not, but that's just one person's opinion. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. So my criteria, the things I'm going to be grading these on, first would be the nose. I'll look at the color too, but I'm not really going to grade that. There's really not a point system. Darker doesn't always mean better. It doesn't even mean older, in fact. With a lot of scotches, you can add coloring and stuff like that. So anyways, the color is a non-point system, but we'll look at it. And then we'll have the nose. It'll be a 1 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Then we're going to move to the palate, again, out of a 10 scale system. The finish, which is how long the flavors last and kind of what flavors you get at the back end of it. Palate, of course, is just the flavors kind of in the beginning and the middle. And they could also include like the body, which is how viscous it is, whether it kind of has an oily mouthfeel, thin mouthfeel, stuff like that. And then the last thing is going to be the value. So that's going to include, for me, how I'm doing this, it's going to be the price per bottle. Also, it's going to factor in the availability, so how widely distributed the whiskey is, because there could be something that's very good, but if it's really hard to find, I feel like that kind of knocks down the value a little bit. So I think between those two things, mostly price, the quality, and the availability, kind of those three all factor into value. All right, so now that you know kind of my scale and my grading system here, we're going to get into the nose. All right, now one trick that I've picked up just from watching other videos is you can go side to side with the nosing to get different nostrils. Sometimes you'll have one plugged up versus the other. That's just how the nose works. The other thing you can do is to open your mouth and kind of breathe in through both your nose and your mouth. That kind of opens up your sinuses and opens up the passage between your nose and your mouth, and that allows for a little bit better nosing so that you don't trap all of the ethanol right in your nose, in your nasal cavity there. So you can do it a couple different ways. All right, now right off the bat on this one, the baking spices and the vanilla kind of come out forward in the very beginning here. So I'm getting a little bit of the oak from, again, the three different kind of oak varieties there between the New Charred Oak, the rye barrels, and the the French Limousin oak. You also get some floral and some brown sugar notes in there as well. There is a sweetness, but it's being that this is 100% rye mash bill, that rye is just gonna, have a lot of spiciness to it. It's gonna be a lot of baking spice, a lot of cinnamon, just a lot of spice hitting you right up front. So it is a combination of sweet and spicy, and also some fruit in there as well, which is kind of nice. It's, as far as a nose goes, it's pretty complex, and I appreciate that. All right, so let's go into the palate here. Now, again, with the nose, sometimes that can change after you've had a sip or two. So usually what you want to do is nose a whiskey, kind of get your initial impression, then you taste it, then you go back to the nose, because a lot of times that can change not only how you smell it, but also the second or third sips. You can pick up on different things too. All right, so again, you get kind of that the floral and fruit sweetness up front, but it's also accompanied by that kind of spice kick right away too. So those are like the two kind of biggest things that I'm picking up right away. Just kind of that floral fruit sweetness, and then the baking spices. Like I said, kind of that cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, allspice, things like that. I'll probably be mentioning baking spices a lot in my videos, and anytime I mention that, those are the main kind of spices that I'm going to be talking about. There's also kind of some black pepper in there as well. A lot of whiskeys you'll have that. All right, let's go in for a second sip here. Yep, the nose kind of transitions into the palate pretty well. There's really nothing on the nose that I'm getting that I'm not getting on the palate, or vice versa. It's kind of, you know, very straightforward as far as that goes. Some whiskeys you'll nose it, you'll get some different notes on that, and then when you actually taste it, it's completely different. Like, you'll taste things that you didn't smell, or vice versa. This one's pretty straightforward from nose to palate there. But I'm also getting some honey a little bit more on this palate than I did from the nose, which is really the only thing that I'm kind of picking up that I didn't really detect on the nose as much. All right, now I'll taste it one more time here to see about the finish, and if there's anything that kind of lingers, you know, kind of in your back tongue, your back palate, and what it finishes off at, and how long it finishes as well. Okay, so the fact that this is 100% rye, again, you're gonna have a lot of that spice just very up front and forward. And this one is no exception to that rule. So a lot of the finish, I'd say it's about a medium finish for me, but a lot of that back end and what lingers is mostly the baking spices and the pepper. There's a little bit of fruit sweetness, a little bit of that honey, but that's kind of more the front end to the mid palate. The back end is definitely more of the spices that I'm getting, which, again, if you like kind of more of that, you know, high rye bourbon, if you like more of that spice, this one will definitely hit a lot of those notes for you. Now we can start grading these, now that we've kind of discovered it and, you know, looked at it, talked about it a little bit. So as far as the nose goes, again, it's nothing crazy, but it is very complex as far as a whiskey goes. A lot of bourbons, you know, a lot of scotches even sometimes will have, you know, maybe a few different things you can pick up on. But this has, I think because of that French oak, the French Limousin oak staves that it was finished in, it has a very distinct nose that I really haven't, you know, discovered in a lot of different ryes before, or bourbons for that matter. So I think for that, being that it's unique, I'll probably give this a little bit, you know, higher score than I normally would. So I think I'll give this a 7 out of 10 for the nose. Now, as far as the palate goes, again, it's nothing crazy, but the proof point's pretty good at 47%. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It's 47% alcohol, but you know, that gives you a little bit more than that 40% to let some of those flavors through. So I like that it's got a little bit, you know, higher proof point than the 40 or even 45. So 47 is pretty good there. And again, it is unique. You know, there's some typical rye flavors going on, but I think because of the finishing process, and I think, you know, just because of maybe the type of rye they're using, it's complex enough to kind of keep you coming back for more and keep you guessing. So I'd say the palate, I will probably give it a 7 as well. That's, you know, a little bit better than run-of-the-mill. 5 would be about, you know, kind of average as far as the scale system goes. Now, as far as the finish, again, nothing crazy. That's probably the thing that for me is really the only, like, not downside, but you know, the thing that doesn't blow me away. It's not super high proof, you know, with a lot of, you know, 40% to 50% alcohol ABV. A lot of times the finish isn't going to be crazy long. This one is a little bit longer, you know, it's in that kind of medium, so it's not super short, but I think the spice kind of saves it. So we'll give the finish maybe a 6. It's not crazy good, but it's also not that bad either. So it's kind of right in the middle there. As far as the value goes, again, I think this is available mostly in Wisconsin, probably the Midwest, and maybe other parts of the country. You could find it in, you know, little bits and pieces here and there. It's a $40 bottle, as far as I know, around $40. Now, any prices I give on this channel are going to be pretty much what I found them at, or if I'm looking online, you know, I'll kind of average out the prices from what I'm seeing. So the value on this, $40 a bottle. It's 750 milliliters. So that's really not that bad as far as a rye goes. It is unique, but I don't feel like it has a ton of different things, you know, to offer other than kind of being a unique one. Kind of going back and forth, there's a lot of different things you can buy for $40 as far as bourbons or ryes. I'll give this one a 5.5 for value. You know, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you can find it. But it isn't necessarily going to blow you away. It's not going to be anything crazy. So the value, I'd say, is, you know, just about average, maybe just a little bit above that. So we'll give it a 5.5. Now that puts the total at 25.5 out of 40. I might tweak the, you know, the overall grading system a little bit if I need to, or if I feel like I should in the future. But right now it's out of 40, so a 25.5 that, you know, puts it definitely above average. I would say if you see it and you like rye whiskeys especially, I would pick up a bottle. You know, it drinks well. Like I said, it's not crazy high proof, so you can sip on it. It's complex enough to keep you coming back for more. And it's, you know, it's not a big name brand, so it's something kind of unique and different that you can pick up and try. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to subscribe or like the video, that would be awesome. And hopefully I can get some more of these out here for you guys and make some more reviews. Cheers.